Hi, I'm Dr. Allan Perel, and this is Conversations in Medicine. This program brings cutting-edge medical topics to the New York City community. Today's program is different. It's dedicated to high school seniors, their teachers, their mentors, their parents. It has been very different than our usual format and topics, but I can say that I am thrilled and happy to have had two children, Evan and Jackie, graduate from high school this year. And they wanted to talk to the population, to my audience, about what it's like to be a high school senior. I am very proud of my children, my family, and our guests today. And bringing this together with medicine, I'd like to say that the senior year of high school has been trying for all of us. And I think as a parent of someone of two children who graduated from high school, a lot of times during the year I wanted to take medicine. So that's how we'll put that together. So the special show tonight, we're going to talk about transitions. And transitions can be very stressful. And that I hope my guests and our guests' perspective and expertise in this will help you navigate getting through high school, knowing what to do in your senior year, and they can talk about their experiences and make it a much more pleasurable experience. My guest co-host tonight is Jackie Perel, my daughter. She recently graduated from high school, and she's a true expert in the topic after spending many hours with her, and she knows her stuff. I also want to introduce our other panelists, Eden Mendelsohn and Olivia Butler, who are Jackie's classmates and friends. They are wonderful, caring people, excellent, hard-working students, and they're going to shed some light on being a high school senior and graduate. So first of all, I want to say congratulations to you all. It's wonderful to have you here. And our goal of today, as we talk about conversations in medicine, is to keep you healthy, keep your families healthy, keep your teachers healthy, and not be too stressed, because that's not good for any one of us, for any of us at all. So I'm going to start by asking everyone, how does it feel to have just graduated from high school and just completed your senior year?
So after 4 long years of studying for tests, standardized tests, doing projects, working in clubs inside and outside of school, it feels like a real accomplishment to be finished with high school and to look beyond, because this is not an end, it's a beginning. So we're really excited to start our life. We're really excited to start our life as people in college or otherwise and working. So we're very excited to do that.
That's marvelous. And Eden?
I agree. High school has been great, of course, but to finally graduate and get to move on and see what my future holds, it's very exciting to get to move on and do everything I want to do.
Hopefully,
yeah.
yes.
I completely agree. I think that to end high school on and close that time in my life, it feels nice to be able to move forward and go into more things. And it also feels a bit surreal because, you know, high school was 4 years, and now finally coming to an end, it still feels like I'm in high school, but I'm very excited for the future.
Oh, that's super. So now I'm going to turn over the show to Jackie, and it's a pleasure.
Thank you.
It's in good hands.
So with me tonight, I have two very qualified panelists, and I'd like to ask you a couple of questions that I think the audience might be really interested in. So the first question, what goals should both seniors and underclassmen have while in high school?
I think an important goal to have is to balance thinking about the present and thinking about the future. So your 4 years in high school are a very important time to do everything you want to do and live life to the fullest, but at the same time, it's 4 years that are very formative and will shed a lot onto what you do in the future. So it's good to maintain a balance between definitely living up to what you want to do and experiencing life as a teenager, but also thinking about the future and being excited for the future and starting to plan ahead.
Olivia?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's important to have some sort of goal in mind, but I also think in challenging yourself along the way in whatever respect, but I also think, you know, it is a formative year, and you should take advantage of all the opportunities, the fun opportunities, and challenge yourself, but yeah, having a goal in mind.
Yes, I agree. I think high school is a time to grow, not only through education, but socially, make friends, have experiences, because if you don't do that, you're not really ready for life as a whole, as opposed to just academically or working. So next, what strategies helped you achieve these goals while in high school?
I think it was always good to think about what's important, really important for me to do now and what I'm really looking forward to doing, because sometimes you think, oh, there's a test I need to study for, but when it comes down to it, you don't want to finish your 4 years of high school and think, oh, I missed out on all these things. So you really want to take advantage of all the opportunities you have while trying not to let the pressures bog you down.
Yeah, exactly. I think, and being able to take advantage of the many opportunities, social, I think that it's about prioritizing your time in the right way and making sure that you're getting what's most important for you done at first, and then, you know, taking that time to you know, hang out with friends, do social things.
Right, so time management and compartmentalization is really a big skill that people learn in high school in order
Yes.
to be able to go through life. So clearly, you have determined what you are doing after high school. So how did you come to these conclusions?
Personally, I just thought about what I enjoy doing and what I would look forward to doing in the future. For example, I really like theater. So when I was thinking about what I want to do in the future, I tried to incorporate that, so that way I'm not always thinking about, oh, like, what kind of work do I have to get done? I have this aspect of my life that I'm always looking forward to, and it'd be very fun for me.
So along the same lines, I chose to take a gap year next year, and for me it was being able to take advantage of an opportunity to travel around the world, and that's what I really enjoy doing. And I think that opening yourself up to all these opportunities is really important. Not, you know, putting yourself in a box and limiting yourself. So there's so many opportunities and different things you can do after high school, and you should be open to them.
Olivia, what's a gap year? Maybe you can explain it to us a little bit.
So a gap year is when you take a year after high school and you really can do anything you want. You can study, you can travel. It's just a time for yourself to grow, and yeah, I think it's a time where you can just really take time to grow for yourself, and it's a great time.
And we've realized being in high school with so many different people that there are really so many options after high school. You can go to the Army, police academy, vocational school. I know, Eden, you said you had a cousin who went to a vocational school.
Yeah, I had a cousin who, when he was deciding what he wanted to do for the future, he realized that he wanted something more focused, and college wasn't really what his top priority was, and he realized that a trade school would actually work best for his goals and
Yeah.
what he enjoyed doing.
And quite a lot of people at our school are taking gap years, whether it be to study or to travel. So do you guys think that's really important?
Yeah, I think also taking a gap year can give you more time to decide what you might want to pursue in the future, what you want to go into. So having that bit of having that crutch between high school and, you know, your next big thing, whatever that might be, can be really valuable.
And you think it's important that we should have all these different options opposed to college or before college, because there are so many different people in the world and everyone has different goals in their life.
Exactly.
So do you think it's important to have an idea of what your future profession or what you would like to do in the future while in high school?
To an extent, often I actually find that if you limit yourself and think that you can only do one certain thing, then you really might be crossing out many amazing options on your list. There's so many things that people consider, and when you think about all the different things that people do in their lives, just deciding one thing is for you and you have to channel all your efforts towards that, I think can be not so helpful at a young age like high school.
Yeah, and I think that one of the greatest advantages that I've had in high school was going into different extracurricular clubs and joining different sports teams and just getting myself involved and exposed to different opportunities and seeing what I might want to go into, but just opening yourself up to things. And
Right. Yeah, for example, many of us know people who are in medical club or engineering club and also mock trial or debate. So it really is a time to expand your horizons and not limit yourself, because in college or beyond, you're not going to be able to do as much. So what advice do you have for students about what classes to take in high school? Should you take classes only about your interests, or should you expand, take different electives, AP courses?
I think it's very important to take what interests you, but to a certain extent, it's also good to broaden your horizons, because if you never take the classes of things you don't think you're interested in, then possibly you're missing out on something that you later find out that you were actually really interested in. So it's nice to take a bunch of different things just to see what it'll be like.
Right. I think there are certain core classes that that you should be taking in high school, but I also think that beyond that, there are so many different kinds of classes to expose yourself to and go into and learn different things. And high school, you know, it's before college or whatever you want to do, and it's really a time when you should be taking advantage of the different things that are offered to you, and don't feel too pressured.
Do either of you have an example of a time where you took a class that you thought you wouldn't be interested, and you turned out that it might be a profession you want to pursue in the future, or just something that you're very interested in now?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was going to take a psychology class in my senior year, and I was debating between another one, and I'm really happy that I decided to take this class because it really got me passionate about the field of psychology, and I think I want to pursue it in college and minor in it. So I'm really happy that I was you know, open to the idea and of taking a new kind of class.
So I want to shift gears a little right now for prospective college students and high school people who are about to be high school seniors. So what advice do you have about standardized tests? Because I know we've all taken multiple tests.
What are the, maybe tell everybody what
so-
standardized tests are.
So there are two types of tests. You can take the ACT or the SAT, and our panelists are going to explain to us the difference. I think Olivia is
Right,
I think
so
she's taken both tests. So
I have
think you are
taken both
going
tests. I think that the SAT and the ACT, the difference between them is achievement versus aptitude. With the SAT, from my experience, it was a lot more information. It was an aptitude kind of test where, you know, there's not all the material you're learning in school. And then with the SAT, the ACT, a lot of things, I know math and English, a lot of that was learned in school. So that was the difference for me, at least.
Well, I just took the SATs, but one piece of advice I would give is I wouldn't be discouraged after one test. Often you just need to study a little bit more, maybe brush up on a few skills that you already have. You just need to bring to the surface. And the second time around, or even third time around, no matter how many times you're taking it, obviously don't take it too many times. That would be really stressful. But just not to worry if the initial outcome isn't as you would hope or expected, because there's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
And also there are subject tests. So if you may not like a particular subject on the general test, you can take a history test or an English test on the side to show your skills in that.
Yeah. Exactly.
So to shift gears again a little bit, we're going to talk about college guidance or life guidance really in high school. So what advice did you seek out from our college guidance counselor at high school?
Mostly what I did is I would think about which kind of colleges I was considering and things that I thought would be a good idea. And I used my college guidance counselor almost to bounce off ideas because they know me, and do you think this school is a good idea for me? Maybe I think so, but maybe you have a piece of information I don't know. So it was really good to get a new perspective on the whole process.
Right, and I think that I had a bunch of colleges that I was considering, and to bounce off back to them, you know, would this college be good for me? They knew a lot more about the college than I did and had a totally different perspective being a guidance counselor. So to hear that, to hear what the schools were offering was really helpful in choosing the college.
Right,
I'm just
and-
going to interrupt for 1 second. If you decide to go to college, just to say to everyone in the audience, if you're passing your classes, there is a place for you. If you want to go to college, there really is a place. Whether it's a community college, or it's a four-year college, or it's a technical college, there are places to go after you graduate. And I think that's important for everyone to understand, rather than just determining which college, you know, and just what type of college you'll be at.
Right,
Right.
and nowadays we have so many different resources that if your college guidance counselor isn't fulfilling your needs, you can go online. There are many college coaches or life coaches even, and people can really learn what they want to do and learn about themselves and be able to make informed choices, even though they might not have that information ready in high school.
Yeah, and I think also, contacting people who are in the college or in the program that you might be considering is really important because they have hands-on perspective of what it's like to be at that place, and to see if you can actually picture yourself there is important.
Right, and before I ask the next question, I'd like to ask you too, there are a few types of colleges when you're applying. Something called a match, a safety, and a reach. So do you guys want to explain what those are to our audience?
Sure. So a reach is almost a dream school, but you have a chance of getting in. It's, oh, I'd love to go there, so just in case I'll send out an application. And you have a chance, but you don't know if it's entirely so likely. A match is when you look online at the qualifications and you think, this is me, I can meet these, there's a chance I'll get in, nothing's for sure, but I think it's a good chance. And a safety is often when people want to make sure that they keep their possibilities open, that they also apply somewhere that they think they might be a little overqualified or on the top percentage, so that way they know no matter what, or hopefully that they'll have a place to go.
And do you guys think that it's a good idea to apply to a college that is really out of your reach, a real reach school, if you will, because you have a chance of getting in? Or do you think it's a waste of time?
I don't think it's completely necessary, but because you also have to understand, where you think that you'd be most successful at academically, and if a school is just so out of your reach, it would be hard to keep up with that with the rate at that school. But I think if you want to challenge yourself and if you really see yourself there, I think there's no problem with that, and you should be open to trying different kinds of things.
Jackie, what do you think? Since you're asking the questions.
Well, I think that no matter the qualifications at every school, they really look at candidates from a holistic perspective. So I think that if we've heard that term quite a lot as high school students, so I think that if your test scores aren't up to par with the school, maybe an amazing essay can make up for it, or maybe you're just a match and the school really likes your major and they don't have enough people who are in that major this year. So it's such a holistic process that I don't think you can just throw out schools from your choices.
Yeah, you never know what they're looking for. You can not necessarily be doing so well in school, but you could be amazing at something like ceramics
Or figure skating.
or I don't know. and then the college, the people who are evaluating you from the college admissions team, they might think, wow, we would love someone who's an excellent figure skater or great at making ceramics. We could use them. So might as well try.
Yeah, definitely don't let pure numbers make you not apply to certain schools. So I think that's a really important aspect to remember, that you're a whole person, so the process should be holistic. So what have you learned from the process of applying to schools or seeing what you want to do after high school? Anyone can answer.
I have found that you can get good advice from people you wouldn't necessarily think. Often people just think of their parents or college guidance or their fellow classmates, but often when you just talk to random people you know about where they went with their life, what they did, what made them happy, you develop these new ideas and you think, oh, this person followed a track I didn't think I'd want to follow, but it sounds really interesting. So it's a good idea to keep your possibilities open and listen to anyone for cool ideas.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, making sure that you're listening to everyone and you're open to hearing everyone's perspectives and experiences, that was, for me at least, very helpful, and not to go beyond the scope of just high school people, guidance counselors. Just hearing from different perspectives has really helped me.
I'm really glad you guys brought that up, because it's really important to listen to everyone when you're in the college process. People who are running organizations within colleges, people who are doing other things in the police academy or going to technical schools like your cousin. Even talking to people who are in the college you're applying to, that's really important, because you don't know the day-to-day life there. And I think we've actually gone together on college visits to go there for a weekend or to ask people about their perspectives. So I think that really helped us make those decisions.
Right.
Really?
It's
So actually, I'd like to ask my dad a question right now. So what advice do you have for parents of high school seniors?
It's a trying year. It's a stressful year for everyone, including the parents, the teachers, of course, the students. In one sentence, it's be supportive. And whatever decisions you make with guidance, we have to support. Of course, be proud of you, as we are. And the idea that supporting your decision is so important, whether it is to go on a gap year, meaning going away someplace for a year and try to mature and grow and feel like you're something that you couldn't do before, whether it's going to college or other school, whether it's a 2-year or 4-year college, whether it's doing something technical, or whether it's going to work. It's just, in a lot of ways, is being supportive of someone. I mean, your family, you're now 18. We spent a lot of years trying to raise you and make you what you are, but you're your own individual, and we have to respect that decision. And we've had a lot of conversation time about what we're going to do and what you're going to do, and where you might go to school or what you might do next year. And I think all of that comes together in order to come up with the final process. And just being supportive and proud of your children and your students is really the most important thing I could say to any of the parents who are out there. I mean, we try very hard to influence you or do this or do that, but it's something that ultimately becomes your decision. And the idea that you have the energy and the drive to do things. I can't tell you how impressed I was listening to taking to courses that you might not do as well. I don't know if you've taken any like that, or not that you wouldn't do as well, but we didn't have as much interest in. I think that's just so important to be able to expand yourselves. As high school students, you could expand yourself so much. In college, you'll expand yourself more. If you don't go to college, there's ways in life to expand yourself. So you really want to be the best you could be. And as I said, in one sentence, is be supportive.
Thank you. I know your parents aren't here, but I imagine they'll have a similar answer to that question.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just from your perspective, is there anything you would have done differently throughout the process? Maybe breathe?
maybe.
I mean, I know for me that I may have stressed out a lot more than I needed to. So I think really taking a step back and looking, having perspective that everything's going to work out okay, that it's not a it's life-altering, but it's not, you're on your path. You're not going to diverge so holistically that you don't understand what has happened, or you're not going to make a catastrophic mistake.
Yeah, I just to add, I don't think anything's concrete in stone, that there's no going back if you don't do well on a test, or something happens. It's not the end of the world.
You can always transfer.
Right.
If you really don't appreciate where you are.
And you honestly, at the end of the day, you just have to move forward and look at each day as a new day and a new opportunity to challenge yourself and to pick up the pace or do whatever you need to do. So, yeah.
One thing I would say is to really make sure you don't stress out too much about the little things, because you might think, oh, if I don't do well on this one test, then I won't get into college. But to be honest, most likely the college won't see little tests, or most likely if you mess up one game, a college coach won't want to recruit you anymore. It's good to think about things as a whole and not try to let the little things get you down.
I actually agree with that. I think the most important thing is to not stress yourself out. With the work, anything you do, it's going to be fine because you're putting effort into it. I don't think I would change anything about my essays or my test-taking abilities, but I think really the way I handled the experience may have been a bit extreme.
Well, yeah, and I think at the end of the day, wherever you're going in the end, the people there want to view you as a whole person and want to see your personality and are not defining you just by one thing.
Metric.
Yeah, one metric. So
they accepted you for you, not because of a test score or anything else.
And when you get to college, no one's going to ask you.
Nobody's going to ask
no
you
one's
your
gonna care anymore.
So is there any specific advice regarding classes or test taking that you have for high school seniors? Or just don't stress out?
I think just being open to trying new things, it's good to challenge yourselves, and even if you don't think you might necessarily do well at first in a certain class, it's good to just open yourself to new ideas and new kinds of thinking. So, yeah.
And also be open in classes where you don't agree with your teacher on everything. Be able to take full advantage of those classes anyway, even if you feel like you're not learning. Take advantage of the subject matter. And
Right.
even if you do badly on a test, you're learning. And learning is a really important aspect in growing and becoming an adult.
And I think also one thing, especially in our day and age, you might think, oh, I might not understand one thing completely at school and they're failing me, but we have the internet at our disposal, which I found, if you don't know how to do a math problem or don't understand a topic in physics, you could just Google it or YouTube it. So often you can supplement whatever you need with the internet, which really could be helpful.
That's such an important point, because we took physics together actually, and I know we spent countless nights on the phone, on the computer, looking at answers to complicated problem sets. So
To work
definitely
backwards and then-
work backwards.
And taking advantage of all the friendships and new kinds of friends you'll make in your classes.
Definitely.
They're definitely a good support system.
Yeah.
Yes.
It works out. And I think having done this with children and seeing friends and family, it's so important that it works out. That at the end of the day, whether it's not exactly the school you wanted to go to, or you decide to take a year off or do something else, as long as you have the energy and the drive, it makes it so important. And you have to enjoy what you're doing. It's so hard to talk to high school and college students and talk about this level of enjoyment. It has to be enjoyable, but it has to be educational. And that little fine line between the two of how much fun you could have versus how much you have to study is really the difference, because you want to come out as a complete person. You want to come out and be able to succeed in whatever you want to do. And to make a long story short, it works out. So for a vast, vast majority of high school seniors, no matter how anxious they are today that they're going into school, into their senior year, it's going to work out at the end. And if so many people get what they want, so many people might have little nuances or variances to that, but most of the time it does work out. And that's what I think everyone has to take away. The time allotment, as you said, all the things that you guys were talking about are just so relevant, but I think everyone has to take that deep breath and say it works out.
Also, senior year is one of the most enjoyable times. I think second semester we went on
Yes.
trips. We went to Europe. We all enjoyed each other's company. We went for little adventures to the mall, and just to hang out with each other and really bond and take your last couple of months together is really important.
Especially once your next 4 years or however long your planning is planned, or you have some idea of what to do, a huge weight lifts off your shoulders. So however stressful it may be, remember that the stress is gonna end.
Yeah, just breathe.
We're going to come to the end. Is there any final thoughts you have?
I just want all the high school rising seniors out there to relax, and it'll all be okay. Should we ask our panel what we're doing next year?
Actually, you know what? We love you all. I'm sure you're all going to be happy what you're doing next year. And thank you all for being guests on the show
Thank you.
tonight.
Thank you.